and welcome to another edition of the RBV Show. So, let's take care of some business first off, guys. The lock of the week, the record is 13-9 after a 2-2 week last week. I can't believe Houston didn't beat Carolina. I don't understand how that didn't happen. Houston obviously didn't bring it, and I apologize to the fans of the show for giving out a bad lock of the week. I also can't believe BC lost. I mean, I'm happy Georgia and the Detroit Lions covered, but 2-2 isn't what the lock of the week is about. I also just want to apologize to the fans for giving the wrong information about Georgia. As I mentioned, a couple of their players, would be a big impact to the game, and they were injured. I went off some old notes. There's no excuse. It was a pretty big screw up. It's not going to happen again. One final note: all the lines for this show are coming on DraftKings right now from 12 o'clock when I write the show script. All right, let's get to it. The NFL locks of the week. The first lock of the week is Cleveland versus Arizona. I would use the alternate line minus 5.5 on DraftKings. This pick is based more on Cleveland's defense than and their ability to stop Arizona's offense. I think Myles Garrett's going to have a big day against these guys. I don't think they're going to be able to contain them. And to be honest with you, I do not think that Arizona's going to be able to get any offense going against these guys. The fact of the matter is, Arizona's 22 is ranked 22nd in the league in scoring right now. And sure, they have James Conner and they have Marquise Brown, but I don't think that's going to be enough to upset the Browns. Overall, if the Browns, even with PJ Walker with the starting QB, they have Amari Cooper, Kareem Hunt, and Jerome Ford. Last but not least, they have a great offensive line. It should, that alone should be able to carry them enough to cover by 5.5 points. This is probably going to be an ugly game. I wouldn't, waste too much time watching it. But the fact of the matter is, the Browns are going to pull this out, and they're going to get a W for the lock of the week. And that's all we can ask for. The second NFL game is the Ravens-Seahawks. The Ravens play great at home. They have a great home field advantage, and Seattle has to travel all the way across the country. As much as I admire the way that Seattle came back against Cleveland, I think the Ravens have too many weapons for Seattle to handle. Zay Flowers, Gus Edwards, Mark Andrews, and Lamar Jackson. They might not light the world on fire in the first half, but I think eventually the second half, the Ravens get it done. And they pull away from Seattle and they cover the spread. Kenny Walker and DK Metcalf are formidable offensive weapons for Seattle, but I think the Ravens' defense is going to be slowed down enough by the Ravens' defense is going to slow them down enough. And I think the Ravens' tenacious defense is going to take them over, take them out of the game. And that's good enough for the Ravens to cover. And this is my second lock of the week. Now, on to my NCAA games. Louisville versus Virginia Tech. Right now, you take Louisville at minus 9.5. I think Louisville takes this game, and quite frankly, I think they run away from it. They had a big win against Duke last week, and Duke is a good team. Louisville is they're a bunch of homers. They play well at home. They're like the Philadelphia Eagles. They just hit another gear at home. The running game last week for the Cardinals really thrived, with Jahar Jordan going off for 163 yards and for 2 touchdowns. Sure, Virginia Tech played well against Syracuse, but I think we can all agree that Syracuse football right now is falling apart. And that dominating victory that they had, it doesn't mean much. The Cardinals will come out running the ball against Virginia Tech, and that will take the pressure off Jack Plummer. I think the Cardinals will take care of business this time after a big win. After the big win against Notre Dame a couple of weeks ago, they ended up losing to Pittsburgh. Tom fucking foolery, if you ask me. They control their own destiny to the ACC championship. And I don't think this team's going to come out flat, being the Cardinals. The Cardinals are the pick for the first NCAA lock of the week pick. All right. Washington versus USC over-under 76.5. You take the over 76.5. You see USC's defense, they cannot stop anybody, plain and simple. I mean, they can't even stop the University of California. They really just gave up 49 points to the University of California. And they gave up, I believe, 38 to Notre Dame a couple weeks ago and others. USC is averaging 45 points a game. They are an offensive juggernaut. No one's debating that. But Washington, they can't stop people on the ground or through the air either. Caleb Williams and Michael Penix are going to have a field day against We're going to have a field game against these terrible defenses. Washington's defense really isn't anything to write home about either. So this game's going to be a shootout. And not to take anything away, but Washington in their own right has a great offense, and they're averaging 40.5 points per game. This game is going to mean a lot to both teams. And I think they're going to come out sharp and move in the change. The over is the lock of the week. In the play here at over 76.5. All right. Now we're going to move on to NFL and NCAA picks. But before we do, breaking news. Bobby Knight has just passed away 25 minutes ago. He was a great coach for the Indiana basketball. And he had love him or hate him, he was certainly unforgettable. So rest in peace, Bobby Knight. Thumbs up. He was a good coach. NCAA, Florida versus Pittsburgh, -22 Florida State. This pick right now, quite frankly, is just based off, Pittsburgh being an absolute mess. I also think Florida State has way too much talent for Pittsburgh to handle. Pittsburgh's not going to be up for this game, as they just got dropped by Notre Dame, 58-7. And there's also trouble in the Panthers locker room, as the players are starting to question the coach and thinking, what is he thinking? FSU right now is locked and loaded. And I think they're going to roll Pitt into Pittsburgh and take care of business. And after they take care of business, they may have a cocktail after. And that's legal. So good for them. All right. Michigan versus Purdue. Michigan covers the large spread here. They're playing great football. Their defense right now is only allowing 85 rushing yards a game. And Purdue isn't exactly lighting the world on fire, being ranked 105th in scoring offense and 106th in scoring defense. Also, the Michigan defense is only allowing 5.9 points a game. J.J. McCarthy's playing great football, and with 18 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. I get that Michigan could be looking ahead after this game to Penn State. But I think, honestly, after the signal scandal, I think that would be out for blood, and they're going to take care of business. All right, let's get to my NFL picks. Eagles versus Cowboys. Eagles -3 as of Tuesday. You take the Eagles in this situation, even with Dallas doing what they did against the Rams. The Eagles are 7-1 and haven't exactly looked like world beaters this season, but I think they're starting to turn the corner. A.J. Brown is having a hell of a year, and he's playing great football right now. The defense is playing well, and even if Jalen Carr isn't available this week, the Eagles' defense will be able to slow down the Cowboys down. This game's also in Philly, and they have one of the best home field advantages in the NFL. I think the fans are probably tailgating right now for this game somewhere in some parking lot in Philadelphia. You take the Eagles at -3 because, quite frankly, the Eagles have too much talent, and the home field advantage will be too much for the Cowboys. And you can take that to the bank. Now, Giants-Raiders under 37.5. Look, I think this is a no-brainer. Both the teams' offenses, they're not doing well right now. They could not score against Hingham High, never mind, score against each other. I think this is a safe play, even if Daniel Jones goes, because the Raiders are obviously starting a rookie quarterback. I know he's highly touted and whatnot, but it's his first start, and I don't think it's going to go that well for him. I mean, Devontae Adams is obviously very frustrated, and it's hard for me to believe that these teams are going to go for more than 37 points. And I can't imagine that, Devontae is even that motivated. He was pretty angry after the game. There is some thought that you should play some Devontae Adams prop bets because they're going to really target him this week. That might be a way to go. I'm not really, I don't really know. I mean, the Raiders just seem to be a mess, especially with all the firings today with McDaniels, the GM, and probably the equipment manager, and God knows who else. Maybe some poor hot dog vendor. Regardless of all that nonsense, I think the under is a safe bet. Under 37.5, I believe, is the way to go. All right. MVP, Wonk of the Weeks, Dope of the Days, and letters to Robbie V. Dear Robbie V, with Halloween past us, are you a big Thanksgiving or Christmas guy? I heard where you gave out crap for candy. What do you have to say about that? Well, first of all, I'm more of a Thanksgiving guy. I like stuffing. Christmas is a good time. Who doesn't like presents? But I'm more of a Thanksgiving. That's just me. I heard where you live gave out crap for candy. I mean, that's fucking bullshit. We all gave out great candy, where I live. And I mean, we didn't have many trick or treaters, so I don't know how you found out that nonsense. So I'm moving on, folks, from that bullshit. All right, MVP. Obviously, the Detroit Lions are MVP for getting win for the people who rode the lock of the week. And also, rest in peace, Matthew Perry. He was a great actor on Friends, the sitcom, and he was gone far too soon. Also, finally, to the unfortunate event that happened up in Maine, the first responders, the fire, the police, and the countless victims of the mass shooting up in Maine are definitely the MVP. This happens far too often, and somehow or another, it needs to stop. People need to respect human life, and that's really all I can say about that. It's a fucking tragedy. Dope of the day. The driver who ran a red light and almost hit me the other morning. I mean, as I was bringing my daughter to daycare. What the fuck were you doing? Can you see the red? Can you not see the red light? The light was red for like 4 seconds before you decided to go. Where were you going anyway? The 99 restaurant for the Bloody Mary special? You take this dope of the day and grow up. Wonk of the week. Matt Pelgrave is Wonk of the week. There's no need for kung fu kicks in hockey. Whether or not you believe that was intentional or not, there's no need for that shit. It really doesn't look like an accident to me, and that's just my personal opinion. And it's a damn shame, that the media is portraying that out to be an accident. Fact of the matter is, nobody should kung fu kick a guy in a hockey game. That's all I have to say about that. And rest in peace, Adam Johnson. Let's see here. One final note. As always, with the NHL, the NBA, and the MLB, and NCAA football and basketball, there's going to be Robbie V plays of the day. The last Robbie V play of the day didn't hit. Jimmy Butler, you're a wonk, and Jason Tatum, you didn't play well enough. If I do a play of the day, I'm going to do a video. It's either going to be on the network or on Twitter. So be on the lookout for it. Also, subscribe to the KMN Network and enjoy Mike and the Minifans, Quantum Kirk, Mount Rushkirk, and other great shows. This is Robbie V, and I wish you to have a good night. And thank you for all of your time. Hopefully, get on the winning side and win some cash. Oh, yeah. All right. Bye-bye.